Are you going to roll your sleeves up and say, you know what? I don't know how long the opposition and the adversities are going to come. I don't know what adversities are going to materialize in my development or my pursuit of this, but I am committing myself to no matter what it is, come hell or high water, I am absolutely dialed in. No one's going to say no to me and I am accepting it. Nope. You're not going to tell me I can't and I'm going to accept it. Nope. You're not going to tell me it ain't from me or ain't mine. Nope, it's mine. That's how it has to be. Not too long after separating from the young lady I was given attention to this week and last week, I stopped thinking about being part of a murder of crows, and I wanted to be a murder of one. That means I wasn't trying to be a bird of a feather who flocks together. I wanted to be an eagle. I wanted to be an eagle. They fly higher than a crow. They fly faster than a crow. And while crows are very, very adept to being intelligent, if you ever studied a crow's intelligence and problem solving skills, it's a fascinating thing. I love crows. I've always been fascinated with crows. Growing up in Maryland, everybody grows corn around here. And you see them all the time. They come outside your door, waking you up, crowing all the time. But I loved it. I love them. But I changed my perspective. Said like an eagle. And here's some funny facts about eagles. Did you know that an eagle can see a quarter, a 25-cent piece in American currency? If you flip it up in the air at one end of a football field and let it fall down, have an eagle at the other end of the football field, it can see that quarter. It has telescopic vision. Did you know that? That's amazing, isn't it? But they say there's no creator. Did you know that an eagle, when it finds a mate, the female eagle will get a twig, like a small branch. It'll fly up really, really, really high. It'll circle around and wait for the male eagle to go up to where it is. And it'll basically wait for the male eagle to grab the twig that's in the claws of the female. And then it stops flapping its wings and starts free falling. And it judges the male eagle on his ability to hold on to that twig until it gets so close to the ground before it lets go. The male eagles that let go too quickly for the female, well, that's her proof that he's not the one for me. I'm not going to make babies and eaglets with this one. They're not committed enough. Now, why would an eagle do this ritual? Because in the nest, once the female eagle gives birth, if that small eaglet falls out of the nest, that female eagle has expectations on the male. You better go down there and fly and catch it before it hits the ground. And if it's going to give up before it should, that's not the right father. So she has high expectations. That's exactly what I saw in Shannon. She had high expectations, and I wanted to live up to that. See, she changed me. She was a dividing factor in my life and who I was becoming. But sadly, eagles, when they get to a certain age, or if they lose their mate, because they only have one mate for their entire life, once they mate with one eagle, they never do it again with another. They don't romp around and find, all I got to do is find someone with a twig, hang out with them a little while, show them, a carnival ride. Now get me another one. That's not what they do. They only have one mate for one lifetime. That's it. That's principally oriented living, isn't it? Oh, Michael, you're talking about a bird. What's this got to do with anything? It has everything to do with how we should look at things. But when they lose their mate, they stop flying. And when they stop flying, they start walking on their claws, which they're not designed to do. And they stop using their beak, and their feathers don't hold up because they're not flying. And they go through a period called molting. And they start getting this calcium buildup on their beak, and their claws and their feet start deforming, and their feathers start to fall out. And most times when an eagle gets in that situation, they're either easily taken by a predator or they just die because they can't hunt anymore. And at that point, the eagle has to make a choice: accept its demise, or it has to do something that's very, very painful. It needs to beat its beak against a hard surface like a rock to beat the calcium off of it. It needs to start trying to fly again. And sometimes, an eagle like that, other eagles that are still flying above, they notice it. And they go down and they encourage them. It's beautiful. There's documentaries out there that show it. It's a wonderful testimony of encouragement. And they fly over top of them and they drop fish to them so they can eat until they get their strength built up. They're not like hyenas who would cannibalize and just say, well, you're weak. We're just going to take you out. Eagle thinks differently. I'm not surprised why the Lord didn't use, that he used an eagle. We shall mount up like eagles. Why didn't he say crow or ostrich or buzzard? Because eagles are majestic. Eagles, the insignia of the Gospel of John. So I stopped trying to live like a crow who was crafty and smart and a good problem solver. I left a murder of crows, became a murder of one, just one. And then I changed my feather. I look at life differently today. I appreciate the adversities I had. The things that you're praying to get through right now, get to it quickly. You're going to be thankful for going through it later on. It doesn't feel like that right now. It does not feel like what you're going through is worth the trouble. But ask anybody that's finally arrived, that's doing what they thought that they could do and wanted to do, and they can make their ends meet and more. It's funny how they look back like a mother during childbirth. They're crying. This is uncomfortable. Oh, I can't wait to get this baby out of me. I watched it happen. I'm thankful God didn't make me a woman. I don't know. That's a lot. But as soon as that baby comes out and goes in their arms, they forget the pain. I've asked the mother of my children, aren't you afraid that we're getting ready to go through that process together of making a baby and you got to go through all that pain? She said, yeah, I'm not looking forward to it. But I never hear her complain about it after the baby was born. They don't think about it because the joy of the baby in their arms overshadows all that. That's exactly what it's going to be like when you arrive. That's exactly what it's going to feel like when you look back and you know what? I'm successful. It doesn't matter who didn't believe me before. It doesn't matter the pain that I put myself through. It doesn't matter all the adversities and the time limits that I placed on myself that had to keep being pushed out further and further. It doesn't matter. All that stuff, that was just growing pains. And I can look back, and you're going to be able to look back too and say, you know what? I made it bigger than it really was, because it's just impatience. You want it to stop. You want the easy living. You want the easy success. And if it's easy success, it ain't worth doing. It ain't worth doing if it's easy. Would you be satisfied? Would you feel successful if all I ever promised that you would earn is $100 to $200 a week? That's the best you could arrive at. And you got to that stage where, okay, yeah, he said I could do this, and now I'm doing it. Are you going to be satisfied with that? No. It's equivalent to me writing a book titled How to Avoid Losing Trades and Losing Market Conditions. Would you buy a book like that if it was sitting next to a book that said, all of my best models? I know what book you're going to buy, but you can't judge a book by its cover. All the things that you're going through right now, all of it, it may not be what you hoped for. It may not be how you imagined it was going to be. Maybe you thought it was going to be easier for you. Maybe you did really, really good in school or in sports, and you thought it's going to translate easily for me. I dominated in high school sports and college sports. I was the MVP. I was the, whatever. And then you discovered it's not what you thought. My uncle was just like that. Very, very academically smart. Book smart. Absolutely book smart. Failed on every occasion trying to be a trader. Except for one time, his first time trying to trade in the 80s, sugar. He made enough to buy a condominium down the Eastern Shore. For those who've been around for a long time, you know the story. I'm not going to rehash it. But never could find anything beyond that. And he resented me as his nephew because I figured it out. And he would never try to learn from me. He would make excuses and say, I'm a contrarian. If I tell him, look, this is what I've been doing for the last 30 trades. And this is how many times I did it right. And this is what I was doing. Try this, Uncle Stan. Okay. And then what's he do? He does the opposite. I'm looking for a long. I'm looking for a long in wheat. And he's trying to short it. What is he saying? I resent you. I want to prove you're wrong and I'm right. And he told me in tears years later, sitting in my car that cost more than his house, crying tears to me, saying, I was jealous and I couldn't understand why I wanted to do this so badly and it happened easy for you. And I started crying back with him. And I said, you don't know all the nights I sat there and was quietly hiding my crying. Their bedroom was connected to my room with a closet. They could hear everything. But he couldn't hear me crying. I said, you think it was easy for me, and it wasn't. I'm thankful that he was being used by God to put these seeds in me as a young man. I didn't respect it. I didn't appreciate it. I didn't even acknowledge it. But that was the hand of the Lord. And I told him, I said, I don't know why you resisted me. I had every intentions of helping you. Like I would literally spend all my time helping you. If you asked me, I'm basically doing it every day. I live in your house. He said, when you moved in, the idea was for you to get on your feet and move out and not get rich. He was speaking from his heart. And I knew right then and there, I can't reach him. Jealousy, envy, and that's family. That's a man I looked up to as a father figure. And he had the power to encourage me to join college, to go in there and ace the preliminary tests and prerequisites and just ace everything. And to see him say his highest degree of aptitude was in math. And he said, I don't even know the answers to those equations. How did you do that? I said, I don't know. I've always excelled in math and science. After 6th grade, when I got introduced to coding and trading. Not trading, but coding and making programs. It opened up my understanding because now finally I have something that engages me. Where prior to that, I sucked as a student. I'd be like me saying, okay, look, let's put ICT out there as quarterback or linebacker on the football team in school. I would have failed miserably. I would have failed miserably as a sports person. Couldn't do it. All of my grade school, records of aptitude sucked until 6th grade. And finally, I was engaged with something that I had an interest in. And it shot me up. It shot me up beyond the average student. And it changed my perspective and pursuits in life. And I could look back and see that transition period. And all of these transition periods you're going through right now as a developing trader, they're probably uncomfortable for you. You want to get through them faster. And you want to slow yourself down. Learn from these periods because these are when the tests are being distributed to you. What have you learned thus far? If you haven't learned anything, you're going to stay in that period longer until you learn the lessons. If you're feeling hardship or adversities, you need to be thinking, hey, what am I supposed to be learning from this? And when you dissect these periods in your time in your growth, you're going to find that, number one, the learning is far more enjoyable and pleasurable. And you're not going to have this impatience always smothering you because you're going to trust that I know I'm in a period of transition right now. I'm going through a growing pain. And I am welcoming that. That's the attitude you should have. You should want more of that because I had lots of them. And it supercharged my learning when I stopped trying to wrestle through that stuff. When I tried to pretend that it wasn't there, that it was some kind of punishment, some kind of aptitude measurement that showed I was never going to be able to do this, when I stopped classifying it as that and looking at it through the lens of this is actually me being molded and sculpted that by hands I can't see, and I submit myself to it. What lessons would you have me to know and learn from this? That's the spirit you should have when you journal, not vilify yourself or vilify the conditions that you're going through. When you have these things that are impacting your growth and your development, and you're constantly doing a measurement and a baseline evaluation of growth and what you're learning from it by journaling, you're doing the best that you could ever do. You're documenting it. So that means you're going to have a means of being able to, number one, look back and see exactly when and how you changed. Because you're not going to remember everything. Think about all the trades that you've taken. Can you remember what the worst 5 of them were? What your entry price was? What was your position sizing? What was your stop loss? I know mine. I know mine. I know my 5 best trades. I know what my leverage was. I know what month contract I was trading, and I know how many contracts I was trading. And I know my entry price and my stop losses. They were meaningful things to me. I celebrated those a lot. A lot. And on American Line, I bragged about it. I bragged, baby. I was like, this is who I am. You have to know yourself like that. You got to know every detail. Don't hide away or shy away from, well, this is probably, going to be uncomfortable if someone else knew about this. No. You know what's more encouraging to me? You know what's more interesting to me? Listening to what people went through. What they went through to get to where they are today. Because we all look at the end result, like, wow, look at the crown champion. The person that has arrived, that's made this much money, has traded this long without a losing trade, who has won this competition. We see those things like that and like, wow, man, that's amazing. And you want to aspire to be like that or better. And they're all commendable. They're well done. Yes. But as a mature person who has tasted success and has lived it, to me, the more interesting thing is what they went through. How did they handle that? How did they handle the tug of wars of back and forth? Sometimes not feeling like they're ever going to get it. That to me is more inspiring. That to me is more of a testimony than what you acquired or what level you obtained. Because if someone says, yeah, I made $1 million, and they blast it on the social media, every social media, they're blasting it. Wow, that's $1 million. And we all think to ourselves, man, if I could just have $1 million like that, I would be successful. I would be happy. I would be content. But what happens if the person comes out and says, well, I've been trying to do this for 20 years and I've lost $250,000 trying all this time. And this is my first measure of success. Now, right away, there's going to be a lot of people come out and say, oh, this guy's a joker. See? He's a fraud. He's a clown. He can't really do it. It took him this long. And these are people that don't even have a winning trade ever. Never even have a live account and can't pass these prop firm challenges, but they're the ones that are opinionated. And I would love to see the backstory of what they went through, because that's what it's going to take for you. See, every book that's ever been written about trading should have a whole lot of the stuff I talk about. But I know the attention span of most of you is of a gnat. You don't have anything beyond a TikTok mentality. The older generation of my community has the capacity to think, and they can appreciate and go beyond the scope of a 5-minute video, because they care about themselves enough to know, I want to know more. If you're willing to share more, I'm ready for it and I'm ready to receive it. But the present generation, they've been beaten into stupidity thinking that 5-minute training is sufficient enough. It's not. It's not. It's a commercial. And think about how it is when you're watching your favorite program. You want to get through the commercials, right? You pay for YouTube Premium to get around the ads when you're watching my videos. Don't talk to me about how you think you figured it all out and you know this is the better way of doing it. This is optimal learning, ICT. Your archaic way of teaching these long-winded things. These are all the conversations that you're going to want to have with yourself when you're going through it all. You don't see it. You don't recognize any of that yet. See, that's proof that the people that talk like that in my comments, they're never going to arrive. They're never going to arrive. They're too critical about good medicine, about good information. I could be stingy. When I was 20, I wanted to be. I was never going to share anything of my best stuff. Never. And that changed real quick when he said, is that really what you're going to do? And I couldn't do anything right. My heavens were like brass. Every prayer denied, Every trade denied. Loss, 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 loss. Until I changed my perspective. And it wasn't about me. I said, use me as an instrument and allow me to point right back to you. And if you give me this, I will do that. And that's how I've lived my life. And you have to eventually get to the point where you're going to have to make a decision. Are you going to roll your sleeves up and say, you know what? I don't know how long the opposition and the adversities are going to come. I don't know what adversities are going to materialize in my development or my pursuit of this. But I am committing myself to, no matter what it is, come hell or high water, I am absolutely dialed in. No one's going to say no to me and I am accepting it. Nope. You're not going to tell me I can't and I'm going to accept it. Nope. You're not going to tell me it ain't for me or ain't mine. Nope, it's mine. That's how it has to be. All you're doing is expecting a deferred payment that's coming to you. That success in the future, you own it. It's nothing short of what you do when you buy a magazine subscription. You pay for it in advance. You're paying for it, but you get it deferred, delivered later on. You ever think about it like that? I can't wait to get the summer edition of Sports Illustrated when they do the swimsuit edition. You know what I'm talking about, man. But you paid for it in the beginning of the year. So that way, that subscription comes to you at a later time. You got patience to wait for that, don't you? You spent good, hard-earned money for these subscriptions. You have cable TV, the equivalent thereof. You pay the bill for the next month's ability to watch the programs, the games. I got all access. Like now, you would think I'm a sports fan. I have every channel, every game that you could ever watch at my disposal, any time I want, and I never do it. I don't know why. I just whatever channel, because I'm afraid if one of my friends do visit, they're like, "Hey, can we watch?" And I would be embarrassed if I couldn't pull it up. So that's why I've been for every year as an adult, I've paid for programming that I never watch. Am I hurting for it? Am I not able to make my bills because of that? Nope. But as a 20-year-old, that would make no sense to me. Some of you are thinking, well, why? That's a waste of money. No, it's not. It gives me peace of mind. It doesn't cost me anything. My programming in TV programming is a write-off for me. I don't care about what it costs me for that stuff. Because I use the information that comes through CNBC, I can write that off. It pipes into my office. I use it for information, so therefore, it's a resource and tool. So I don't care what it costs me. Sure. I can watch that same access in my theater and watch John Wick blaze through a bunch of men with lots of fireworks and such. That's the perks of being a businessman. But you have to change the way you think about things right now. If you've been beating yourself up or saying, this doesn't happen fast enough for me. This isn't working out for me like I hoped it would. You gotta remember, everybody that ever arrives doesn't do it overnight. And many of them have guarded that secret that's never to be told, which was the hardship it took for them to go through it. And that's why I have a great admiration, a great deal of respect for the people that come forward and say, you know what? It took longer than I thought. It was extremely hard for me to trust that what I was doing was going to pan out for me. But I stuck to it. That is someone you listen to. That is someone you subscribe to. That's someone that has a voice that's worth listening to. Because anybody that comes out there and says they're the best, and it was easy for them. It was nothing for me to do this. They are fabricated, they're liars, and they're probably mimicking someone else's successful. And I'm hoping that you and my audience could appreciate that it took you some real effort to get to it. That it was not easy So that way when you do arrive, it feels really good. And that's not arrogance. That's not pride. It's accomplishment. The Lord says that you're more than an overcomer. Does that mean that you shouldn't feel good when you overcome something? No, it means that you should expect that you're going to overcome it. Pursue it, chase it down, take it by force. Don't sit back quietly reserving yourself to whatever happens, I'm just going to accept it the way it comes to me. Wrong. Your perspective needs to be, I'm going after it, and it can't outrun me, and I will overtake it, and it is mine. Maybe this doesn't do it for you today. Maybe this is not what you're expecting. Maybe you wanted to hear stone cold ICT like last week. Maybe that's what you're hoping for. And that's for entertainment. That's to get the hooks in you. But once you could hear, and I have your ear, this is how I talk to you. This is how I encourage you. Because this is what matters most. These are the lessons that are going to stick with you. Not the rants, not the raving, blue collar language, just to get you to pay attention to me, because sometimes you feel like we're not on the same wavelength. So when I talk to you in a common tongue, like I was raised around, oh, you're one of us, ICT. No. You're becoming one of me.